Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajeem. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Dear students, welcome to my lecture number 21. So in this lecture we will discuss about the anti-Parkinsonian drugs. As we know that we have already discussed all the things, especially in our previous lecture. This lecture is totally about all the drugs which are used in the treatment of Parkinsonisms. So let's take start. These are the objectives which I am going to cover. So the objectives are: describe the action of anticholinergic drugs and dopaminergic drugs used in the treatment of Parkinsonisms. Differentiate between the type of commonly used anti-Parkinson's drugs. Describe the side effects of anti-Parkinson drugs. Discuss the nursing interventions, including the client teaching of drugs used in the treatment of Parkinson's disease, and calculate the drug dosage accurately for oral and parenteral anti-Parkinson's drugs. तो सारे ये जितने भी हैं ये आपके ऑब्जेक्टिव्स हैं और इस ऑब्जेक्टिव को हमने कवर करना है स्पेशली एंटी पार्किंसोनियंस में. तो ये सारे जितने भी चीज़ें मैं आपके साथ शेयर कर रहा हूँ, दिस इज़ अकॉर्डिंग टू योर कोर्स करिकुलम. इसको हमने फॉलो अप करना है और इसमें जितने भी रिलेटेड चीज़ें हैं उसको हमने प्रॉपरली एक्सप्लेन करना है. ठीक है, तो ये सारे ऑब्जेक्टिव्स हैं जो ऑलरेडी मैंने मेंशन किया है. ठीक है, तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी विल डिफाइन पार्किंसोनिज्म्स. ठीक है, पार्किंसोनिज्म क्या है? तो पार्किंसोनिज्म कैन बी डिफाइंड एज इट इज इन एक्स्ट्रा pyramidal motor disorders occur due to degeneration of dopaminergic neurons and the substantia nigra pars confecta results in dopamine deficiency. So स्पेशली एंड पार्किंसोनिज्म यू नो मेमोरी लैप्सेस इसमें होता है. ठीक है, मोटर, दिस इज ए काइंड ऑफ एक्स्ट्रा pyramidal motor disorders which is occur due to degeneration of dopaminergic neurons. So especially in Parkinsonisms there may be occur the degenerations of the dopaminergic neurons which is produced in the substantia nigra. You know substantia nigra. Substantia nigra is actually melanin containing fragmented nucleus which is present in the middle, you can say the ventral brains, and it consists of dopaminergic neurons. And substantia nigra anatomically, so it is located in the midbrains. It is occur in 2% of elderly population. Classically disease of 7 decade of life. Actually in Parkinsonism there is occur imbalance between dopaminergic inhibitory neuron and excitatory cholinergic neurons. So when there is imbalance occur, so you must will have to overcome the cholinergic overactivity. It should be overcomes. Now look at here. This is the person who is suffering from Parkinsonisms. Forward tilt up trunk, reduced arm swinging, shuffling gait with short steps. So I mean that this person is unable to maintain his equilibrium, his body positions. The rigidity and trembling of head and rigidity and trembling of extremities occurs. These are the clinical features. अब इसके खुसूसियात क्या है, clinical features क्या हैं? ठीक है, what are the basic characteristics of the Parkinsonisms? इसके कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स क्या हैं? ट्रेमर हो सकता है. ठीक है, ट्रेमर में रेस्टिंग ट्रेमर, पिल रोलिंग, मोशन ऑफ हैंड एंड सप्रेस बाय एक्टिविटी, स्लीप. स्पेशली इस कंडीशन में हम अपने पॉस्चर्स, अपने बॉडी पोजीशन को हम मेंटेन नहीं कर सकते. उसमें काइट डिस्टर्बेंस होता है, पॉस्चरल इंस्टेबिलिटी आ सकता है. इसके लिए इम्बैलेंस एंड लॉस ऑफ राइटनिंग रिफ्लेक्सेस. We are unable to control himself, and there is rigidity may be occur, tremor, gait disturbance, rigidity. Rigidity में ये होता है can increase in resistance to passive movement. Especially your muscles that become rigid, it become hot. Bradykinesia may be occur, and bradykinesia there is occur slow onset of movement, and paucity of movement means your movement it becomes slow or sluggish. Now come toward we will explain little bit pathophysiology and treatment of Parkinsonism. So this is normally we know that in basal ganglia the dopaminergic activity is balanced by the cholinergic systems. So cholinergic systems, actually the basal ganglia, they are responsible to maintain the dopaminergic activity by the cholinergic systems. In Parkinsonism, when it is occurred to a person or the patient, it's result due to depletion of dopamine in relation to cholinergic activity, and also anti-dopaminergic drugs, for example phenothiazines, haloperidols, methyl dopa, etc. it cause Parkinsonisms. ट्रीटमेंट स्ट्रेटजी ये है कि फार्माकोलॉजिकल स्ट्रेटजी रिस्टोर द नॉर्मल डोपामीन. Normal dopamine secretion, it should be restored, it should be controlled, minimize acetylcholine production, acetylcholine activity at the muscarinic receptor and the striatums. सर्जिकल में पर फिर हम ये करते कि पहले डोपामीन लेजेंड्स, डीप ब्रेन स्टिमुलेशन इसमें होता है, सबथैलेमिक न्यूक्लियस एंड ग्लोबस पैलिडस इंटरनस न्यूरल ट्रांसप्लांटेशन इसमें होता है, ठीक है. Degeneration of darkly pigmented dopaminergic neurons in substantia nigra, which is the melanin containing pigment nucleus in the ventral brain and consists of dopaminergic neurons. The second one is dopamine. So actually dopamine is neurotransmitters, just like acetylcholine. So after oxidation they are converted into neuromelins. And third step, they decrease the dopamine production and the new striatiums. Now look at here, Parkinsonism, it is divided into two categories. The first one is idiopathic Parkinsonism, in which its cause is unknown, while in secondary Parkinsonism there may be infection, and first encephalitic Parkinsonism may be occur. Toxins in the form of for example manganese, carbon monoxide poisoning may be occur. Degenerative disease of central nervous system in the form of Wilson disease, it may be due to drugs like phenothiazine, butyropenones and metoclopramide and haloperidols. Now look at here, this is the schematics, this is the flow sheet diagram for anti-Parkinsonian drugs. These are the drugs which are used in the management or in the treatment of Parkinsonisms. So the first one is dopaminergic drugs and the second one is anticholinergic drug. Now what are dopaminergic drugs? So actually dopaminergic drugs, these are the class of drugs that bind to and to block, that bind to the receptor to block the dopamine receptors. And the second one is anticholinergic drugs. So simple anticholinergic drugs are those drugs which are responsible to block or inhibit the neurotransmitter like acetylcholine and the central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Dopaminergic drug is further classified into two categories. The first one is dopamine precursor and dopamine agonist, while anticholinergic drugs are dopamine facilitators like amantadines. Dopamine precursor is levodopa, while dopamine agonist dopamine agonists are those drugs which enhance or increase the dopamine secretions from the central nervous systems, from the peripheral nervous system, central nervous system. Dopamine agonist is further divided into two categories. One is ergot and the second one is non-ergot. So ergot include, it contain bromocryptines, fergolines and lyseride D1 and D2 agonists, and non-ergot alkaloids, pyridols, they are available, ropinirole and primipixols. So these are dopamine agonist, while dopamine facilitator is amantadine. So it means that amantadine, it come under the category of what? Anticholinergic drugs, which can block the activity of a neurotransmitter like acetylcholine and the central nervous system as well as peripheral nervous systems. Now come toward the peripheral D-carboxylase inhibitor. This is another group, peripherals D-carboxylase inhibitor. It include carbidopa and benzodiazides, while another one is MAO, monoamino oxidase inhibitors, which contain a drug which is called siligilines, which is available in a market by trade name Diprenil के नाम पे available है. अच्छा, इसके अलावा है COMT इनहिबिटर. सो COMT इनहिबिटर इसको कहा जाता है केटाकोल ओ मिथाइल ट्रांसफीरेज, इसको कहा जाता है. ठीक है, क्या इसको कहा जाता है? केटाकोल्स ओ मिथाइल ट्रांसफीरेज इसको कहा जाता है. ठीक है. अच्छा, फर्दर हम इसको डिवाइड करते हैं दो कैटेगरीज में. एक इसमें एंटीकोलिनर्जिक आ गया और एक इसमें एंटीहिस्टामिनिक आ गया. तो एंटीकोलिनर्जिक को तो ऑलरेडी मैंने डिस्कस किया कि हाउ इट कैन ब्लॉक, हाउ इट कैन मिमिक द एक्टिविटी ऑफ एसिटाइलकोलिन प्रोडक्शंस. इसमें आता है ट्राइहेक्साइल फिनिडाइल्स, बेंजहेक्सोल्स, प्रोसाइक्लिडीन एंड बेप्रिडीन्स. एंटीहिस्टामिनिक्स में है आर्पिनेड्रीन्स एंड प्रोमेथाजीन्स. अब ये एक एजेंट है, इसको लीवडोपा कहा जाता है, एल-डोपा. सो लीवडोपा इज एक्चुअली द मेटाबॉलिक प्रिकर्सर ऑफ डोपामीन. सो आफ्टर मेटाबॉलिज्म द डोपामीन इज कन्वर्टेड इनटू लीवडोपा, which is the metabolic product or the metabolic precursor of dopamine, and dopamine is actually neurotransmitters. So it is inactive by itself. So levodopa actually this is inactive itself. So after metabolisms, so it converted become active. So 95% of an oral dose is carboxylated in the peripheral tissue, mainly in the guts and liver, and converted into what? And they converted into you can say dopamine, you can say dopamine, or you can say dopamine agonist. Only about 1 to 2% of administered levodopa crosses the brain-blood-brain barrier, also used in combination with carbidopa, benzodiazepides, and peripheral decarboxylase inhibitor. They are used. You know, decarboxylation. Decarboxylation, it is a chemical process in which the carboxylic group has been removed. Levodopa is usually combined with carbidopa, and this is I think this is the best treatment for Parkinsonism. So levodopa is used in a combination with the carbidopa. So levodopa is converted into dopamine, so after you can say metabolisms. Carbidopa, the mechanism of actions or mode of action of carbidopa, it can inhibit the peripheral decarboxylations of the levodopa, hence more levodopa reaches to the brain. The advantage, what are the advantages of the combination of levodopa if it is used in a combination with the carbidopa? So it will produce less dose of levodopa required and more effect of levodopa. Another advantage is it can increase the half-life of levodopa. The third one is less side effect of levodopa and peripherally. Vitamin B6 interaction doesn't occur here. So these are the advantages which are reported by the literatures. Now come toward the pharmacokinetics. In pharmacokinetic we will study about how these drugs, especially the levodopa, you can say in a combination with carbidopa, the pharmacokinetic is this drug can absorb orally by active transport. So active transport के ज़रिए इसका absorption होता है. So it can decrease by the presence of food, especially amino acids. So its absorptions is decreased by the presence of food, especially amino acids. It can be administered on the empty stomach. Bioavailability affected by the amino acid present in the food compete for the same carrier for absorption. It should be given 30 to 60 minutes before meal. So it is very important that this drug should be taken at an empty stomach. Now how this drug will be distributed? So this drug can be distributed. L-dopa, levodopa crosses the blood-brain barrier. So it can easily cross the BPB, central nervous system disturbance maybe occurs. So the plasma half-life of levodopa is 1 to 4 hours. Okay? Okay, now how this drug will be metabolized is we know that this drug will be metabolized. Levodopa undergo the high phosphatidic metabolism in the gastrointestinal tract, mucosa, and liver. Excretion is occurred through urine. It can also cross the blood-brain barrier, BBB. Now come toward the pharmacodynamics. So the pharmacodynamic profile of these drugs on central nervous system, these drugs mark symptomatic improvement occur in Parkinsonism or Parkinsonian patient. It can affect on the behavior, general alerting response. On cardiovascular system, so especially in cardio and cardiovascular system, these drugs produce inotropic action, and these inotropic actions it will peripherally, so the peripherally form dopamine agonist can cause tachycardia acting on the beta adrenergic receptors. So the dopamine agonist and you can say NA formed in the brain's central symptomatic flow postural hypertensions maybe occurs. Now what are the effect of these drugs on chemoreceptor trigger zone? This is called CTZ. So dopaminergic receptors, as we know that dopaminergic receptors, they are present in this area, chemoreceptor trigger zones, and D acts and the excitatory transmitter, dopaminergic or dopamine agonist. Peripheral form dopaminergic agonist gains access to the chemoreceptor trigger zone. It can elicit the nausea and vomiting. Endocrine action, so the you can say the direct action of dopamine agonist act on the pituitary mammotrophs to inhibit the prolactin release. These drugs are used in the treatment of Parkinsonian disease or Parkinson disease. Levodopa can reduce all the sign and symptom of, you can say, the which is already reported in the pharmacodynamics. It doesn't stop the progression of disease. The adverse effects which are reported, so at the initiation of therapy, the central nervous system manifestation, euphoria may be occur, euphoria when the person is in pleasant state, anxiety may be occur, agitation, insomnia, psychological disturbance, as confusion, delusions, hallucination may be occur. इसके अलावा जो है dyskinesia may be occurred where there is abnormal involuntary movements which is corrected by dose reduction. And GIT manifestation and gastrointestinal tract manifestation, the anorexia, nausea and vomiting due to stimulation of D2 receptor and chemoreceptor trigger zone. You know what are D1 and D2 receptor? D1 receptor are dopamine 1 receptor and D2 these are dopamine 2 receptor. So actually these drugs can directly act on D2 receptor and chemoreceptor trigger zone. Tolerance may develop to this adverse effect, but if nausea and vomiting persist, so antiemetics are given, for example domperidone D2 antagonist, which doesn't pass the blood-brain barrier. Constipation and bleeding, peptic ulcer maybe occurs. And cardiovascular system manifestation, postural hypertension may be decreased, so it decreases the central sympathetic flow. Tachycardia may be occur by a direct beta 1 stimulation. Increase in heartbeat occur by direct beta 1 stimulation. As we know that there are two receptors which are present, and the heart, one is beta 1, one is beta 2. So beta 1 receptor is the most dominant receptor which is present in the heart. Hypertension occur with low doses or with non-selective monoamino oxidase inhibitor alpha 1 stimulation. Others, alteration of the smell, taste, sensations and abnormal movement, facial tics may be occur. After prolonged therapy, wearing up phenomena may be occur. After prolonged therapy, 3 to 5 years duration of beneficial effect, shorten is the therapy progress. Disease control become poor and fluctuation as symptoms occur frequently. This may be due to interaction of dopamine with hydrogen peroxide leading to the formation of toxic oxygen free radical which destroy dopamine storage vehicle. So as I have already discussed, for example, when you are going to exceed the concentration of the drug, or if the drug is used for a longer period of time, so a time will come that the drug will leave his work, the drug become unable to perform its activity, and fluctuation and symptom may be occur in the form of dopamine. So you know dopamine. So dopamine is actually this is dihydroxyphenyl acetic acid, dihydroxyphenyl acetic acid and hydrogen peroxide. This can be prevented by adding selective monoamino oxidase inhibitor as silicilins. On-off phenomena may be occur. It may be due to variable level of dopamine in central nervous system. And on-state patient enjoy the normal mobility, and off-state loss of beneficial effect of the drug. For example, patient unable to rise from the chair on which he had sat few minutes ago, and this is the reason. That's why fluctuation occurs and the plasma level because of short of life. And the treatment assembles sustained release formulations in the form of levodopa, L-dopa plus carbidopa. It is given in a combination to the patient, while COMT inhibitor are used. So COMT inhibitor are ketocol O-methyl transferase. It is the name of the enzymes. So actually these drugs are used. COMT stand for ketocol O-methyl transferase. Frequent administration of levodopa can be occurred. Now what are the interactions, drug-drug interaction which are reported here? Levodopa. So levodopa is a non-selective monoamino-oxidase inhibitor which is used in the treatment of hypertensive crisis. Levodopa means this is you can say levodopa, for example, they are also interact with vitamin B, so it will increase the metabolisms and therapeutic flavor, as we have already discussed in drug interaction. Whenever we are going to administer two drugs at the same time, so one drug will increase, decrease or cancel the effect of one another. Levodopa. So levodopa, they are also contraindicated, so it cannot be, there may be interaction with there are interaction of levodopa with reserpine, phenothiazine, because it can block the dopamine effect. Levodopa, there are also some minor interactions with tricyclic antidepressants. If levodopa is used in a combination with tricyclic antidepressant like fluoxetine, duloxetine, 5-hydroxytryptamine, so it can decrease the absorption of the levodopa. So in drug interaction, we are going to target that how did the effect of another drug, the absorption of another drug will decrease or increase. So here in this case, if levodopa is used in a combination with tricyclic antidepressant, so it will decrease the absorption of levodopa. Levodopa cannot be used, it is contraindicated, especially in psychosis. When a patient is suffering from psychosis, narrow angle glaucoma, which is the eye disease, and melanoma, so it cannot be recommended. So inshallah in my next lecture I will discuss about the carbidopa. Carbidopa is another drug which is used in the treatment of Parkinsonism. Thank you.